As we head into the first presidential debate of the election, both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are struggling. Despite what the media is claiming about this upcoming debate being Trump's best chance to regain his footing, that's only half the story. For someone like me, a deep nationalist populist, Trump's path to victory is not about regaining his footing in the polls. It's about how he can energize his base. Polling doesn't matter if it doesn't lead to turnout. What matters is who shows up on election day. And for that to happen, Trump has to be the Trump of 2016, not the softened version we saw in 2020 and the even softer version we see now. This narrative of Trump's chance to regain his footing comes from a Politico article titled "Trump's Allies Fear He'll Blow the Debate, His Best Chance to Regain Ground Against Harris," written by Natalie Allison, Lisa Kaczynski, Kimberly Leonard, and Alex Eisenstadt, and published on September 7th. In their piece, they suggest that the upcoming debate is Trump's moment to recover lost ground against Kamala Harris. According to the article, some Republicans are concerned that Trump might go off script and get personal with Harris, something they believe could hurt his chances. But let me tell you, this kind of thinking completely misunderstands Trump's real support base. Here we go again, people trying to reshape Trump into Mitt Romney. Politico states that some Republicans are concerned that Trump will blow his chance if he gets personal with Kamala Harris. Quoting the article, "Tuesday's debate may be former President Donald Trump's best chance to regain his footing in the presidential race. But it's an opportunity some Republicans fear he could blow, particularly if Trump gets personal with Vice President Kamala Harris. Prominent GOP officials and his own advisors have urged Trump for weeks to keep the focus on critiquing her policy record, but the former president continues to signal that he's not interested in backing down from personal attacks. This idea that Trump will blow his chances by getting personal is ridiculous. The establishment wants to mold him into some bland, indistinguishable from Marco Rubio politician who tiptoes around the issues. Trump rose to power in 2016 by doing the exact opposite. He didn't shy away from personal attacks or calling out the globalist powers that have taken control of the system. In 2020, he softened up, and while I believe the election was stolen, he lost his edge. He didn't energize his base the way he needed to, and that's why he's struggling now. If Trump wants to win, he needs to stop listening to those who tell him to tone it down and instead go after Harris personally and tie those ruthless attacks into the corrupt system that put her in power. The Politico article suggests Trump may be underprepared, but that's not the issue. Trump has command of most of these issues. The real problem isn't whether Trump has studied every policy detail. It's whether he has a recurring focus throughout the debate. He needs to stick to a clear theme that connects all the issues back to one core message. As Politico notes, a Trump campaign official granted anonymity to speak freely said the former president, as he did before the June debate, is working with senior staff and allies to determine how to best portray a contrast with Harris during the debate, but the official suggested preparations are minimal. Trump is simply reviewing policy specifics that he believes voters will most care about, the official said, in order to contrast his time in office to Kamala Harris' 4 years as co-pilot. That's not the point. Trump doesn't need to over-prepare or get bogged down in policy specifics. What he really needs is a consistent theme, something he didn't have in his previous debates with Biden going back to even 2020. Even though Biden was clearly a demented old fool, he managed to stay on point enough to throw Trump off. If the debate wasn't past Biden's bedtime, he would have landed some clear jabs. Ignoring Biden's slurred words and senior care facility moments Trump actually sucked in that debate. He lacked focus and rambled with no clear agenda going in. And that's where the trouble started. This time, Trump needs to enter the debate with a strategy that ties every issue, whether it's the economy, immigration, or foreign policy, back to the core idea that the globalists are pulling the strings behind the scenes with Harris as their puppet. This is also the perfect opportunity for Trump to go after Harris on a deeper level, one that nobody seems to have the guts to touch. Why isn't Trump on stage talking about Kamala's knee pads and her husband's preference for nannies? They need to confront why Kamala having sex with a married Willie Brown matters. She finished off Willie's Brown because she was whoring herself out to climb the corpo ladder. She is still a political prostitute to this day. And her pimps are the ones who pushed her through the system in an undemocratic process. Why won't anyone bring that up? I think these corporate asshats are afraid that taking this position would hurt them with women. But the truth is, women don't support another woman who uses knee pads to get to the top. They actually hate women like that. The debate would be a great time to educate them on the type of woman they are supporting. Trump should be calling out that hypocrisy in the debate, showing how Harris rose to power by doing whatever it took, and connecting that back to the globalists running the show. Newt Gingrich and others have tried to frame Harris as a tough opponent. But Harris is almost certain to be a more difficult opponent. Gingrich noted how ruthless she was with Brett Kavanaugh when she was a senator. She can be aggressive, Gingrich said. She can be tough. That's the view of Republicans who know her from her time in California, too. Rob Stutzman, a Republican consultant in California who was an advisor for Romney's 2008 presidential campaign, said Harris will want to make personality the issue, which is hard for him to resist, but it will be a bad night for him if he falls back on hurling absurd insults at Harris. Let's not overhype Harris here. Yes, she'll be aggressive, and yes, she'll try to make it personal. But Trump has dealt with worse. The DNC wasn't afraid to get personal with Trump this year. They mocked him in an official political ad for allegedly sleeping with Stormy Daniels right after his wife gave birth, airing that dirty laundry during their convention. The same people telling Trump not to go personal with Harris didn't hesitate to attack him personally. So let's be real here. Trump can and should get personal with Harris. The only caveat is that it has to count. Trump shouldn't just sling insults for the sake of it. He needs to make it clear why it matters. Harris is part of the same corrupt system that rigged the last election, and Trump needs to expose that to his base. That's how you turn personal attacks into something meaningful. At the end of the day, this election isn't about polling or percentages. It's about turnout. Trump's base needs to feel energized. And the only way to do that is by being the Trump of 2016. The unapologetic, fearless Trump who went after the globalists and didn't care about what the media establishment or even rich Zionists thought. The moment Trump softens, like he did in 2020, is the moment he hands the election to the same people who stole it last time. This debate is Trump's opportunity, but only if he remembers what's really at stake.
Middle MAGA.